10 years ago, social media manager, blockchain analyst, and data scientist were almost unknown. Today, people in these roles earn more than doctors and engineers in many countries. The world is changing fast. Money is changing. Technology is changing, and the job market is transforming forever. The highest paying future jobs, why these careers will dominate the next decade, how global wealth is shifting, and how you can prepare starting today. Watch till the end, because one decision you make in the next few years could decide your financial future. To understand high-paying future jobs, we must understand how money moves. In the past, people earned money through physical labor. Factories, offices, and fixed hours ruled the economy. Today, money follows skills, data, automation, and digital systems. Companies pay more to those who solve complex problems. As the global economy continues to evolve, it's important to understand that future high-paying careers will not be limited to traditional offices or fixed career paths, because income generation itself is becoming more flexible, decentralized, and skill-driven. Meaning people who understand how value is created in modern systems will always stay ahead, and this is especially important in a world where inflation reduces purchasing power, automation replaces repetitive jobs, and digital platforms control how money flows across borders. Because in this new reality, companies are willing to pay premium salaries to individuals who can help them save time, reduce costs, increase efficiency, protect assets, or scale revenue globally. And this is why future jobs that combine finance, technology, and strategic thinking are expected to dominate income charts, since businesses no longer compete only locally but globally, and one skilled professional can now impact millions of users through a single system, algorithm, or financial model, which naturally increases their earning potential. And if we look closely at how wealth is being created today, we see that many of the world's richest individuals didn't follow traditional career paths, but instead positioned themselves early in emerging industries like software, fintech, digital payments, cloud services, and data-driven decision-making. And this pattern is likely to repeat itself for the next generation of high earners, because when a new system is created, those who understand it first gain the biggest advantage. And this is why learning how money systems work, how businesses generate profit, and how technology amplifies scale is far more valuable than memorizing outdated theories, since the future economy rewards people who can think independently, adapt quickly, and continuously upgrade their skills. And this is also why salary structures are changing, with performance-based income, equity compensation, freelance consulting, and global contracts becoming more common than fixed monthly pay, meaning someone with in-demand skills can earn in a year what others may take a decade to achieve, especially if they position themselves in industries that solve high-value problems such as financial security, automation, artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, or online growth. And when we talk about future jobs, we're really talking about future value creation, because money flows toward value, and the people who earn the most are those who can either create systems, manage risk, analyze complex information, or make accurate decisions at scale. And this is why careers that involve forecasting trends, protecting digital assets, optimizing financial performance, or building scalable platforms will continue to rise in importance, particularly as governments and institutions struggle to manage debt, currencies become more volatile, and individuals seek better ways to protect and grow their wealth, which creates demand for professionals who understand both technology and finance. And at the same time, education itself is transforming, with online courses, certifications, and self-learning replacing traditional degrees in many industries, making it possible for anyone with discipline and internet access to compete globally. And this shift is especially powerful for young people and professionals in developing economies, because it removes geographic limitations and allows talent to be rewarded based on output rather than location. And this is why the future job market will favor those who are proactive rather than reactive, those who learn before demand peaks rather than after, and those who build rare and valuable skills rather than following crowded career paths. And it's also important to understand that high-paying future jobs will require responsibility, continuous learning, and adaptability, because technology changes fast, and what is valuable today may become basic tomorrow, which means the highest earners will not be those who learn once and stop, but those who keep evolving, upgrading their knowledge, and staying aligned with market needs. And this mindset shift is critical, because many people still prepare for jobs that are already declining, instead of positioning themselves for roles that will dominate the next decade. And as automation continues to handle routine tasks, human intelligence will shift toward creativity, strategy, ethics, oversight, and complex problem solving, which cannot be easily replaced by machines. And this is where long-term income stability will come from, especially in fields where decision-making impacts large financial outcomes. And another key factor in future high-paying careers is trust, because in a digital world full of data, transactions, and automation, businesses and individuals will rely heavily on experts they trust to manage systems, protect assets, and guide financial decisions. And trust-based roles often command higher compensation, because mistakes are costly, and when billions of dollars move through digital systems every day, even small improvements in efficiency or security can generate massive value. And this is why companies are willing to invest heavily in top talent. And from a personal finance perspective, choosing a future-proof career is one of the most powerful financial decisions anyone can make, because income growth is the foundation of wealth creation, and while saving and investing are important, they are limited if income remains stagnant. which is why focusing on skills that increase earning capacity is often more effective than trying to cut expenses endlessly. And this perspective changes how people view careers, education, and time investment, because instead of asking how much a job pays today, smart professionals ask how valuable the skill will be in 5 or 10 years, how scalable it is, and whether it can adapt to new technologies and market conditions. And this forward-looking approach is what separates those who struggle financially from those who build long-term stability and freedom. And as global competition increases, the difference between average and top performers will widen, meaning those who invest in themselves early will benefit disproportionately over time, and this compounding effect applies not only to money, but to skills, experience, and reputation, which together create opportunities that cannot be accessed through traditional career paths alone, and ultimately the future belongs to individuals who understand that careers are no longer linear. Income is no longer limited by geography, and learning is no longer confined to classrooms, and those who embrace this reality will find themselves positioned to take advantage of the highest paying opportunities of the future, not by luck, but by preparation, awareness, and smart decision-making. Another important reality about the future of high-paying jobs is that income will increasingly be tied to problem ownership rather than task completion, meaning the people who get paid the most will not be those who simply follow instructions, but those who take responsibility for outcomes, because businesses don't pay for effort, they pay for results, and as competition increases and margins become tighter, companies will look for professionals who can directly impact revenue, reduce risk, or unlock new growth opportunities, which is why strategic roles will outperform operational ones, and this shift is already visible in how companies structure their teams, with fewer layers of management and more emphasis on cross-functional experts who understand finance, technology, and human behavior at the same time. And in this environment, communication skills will become just as valuable as technical knowledge, because being able to explain complex ideas clearly, influence decisions, and align teams around a financial goal can dramatically increase one's earning potential, especially in leadership and advisory roles. And this also connects to the rise of consulting, freelancing, and independent expertise, where professionals sell their knowledge directly rather than trading time for a fixed salary, allowing them to scale income based on demand, reputation, and results. And this is particularly relevant in emerging fields where companies lack in-house expertise and are willing to pay premium fees for guidance. And when we look at future job security, it's clear that loyalty to a single employer is becoming less reliable than loyalty to a skill set, because companies adapt quickly to market conditions, restructure frequently, and prioritize efficiency, which means individuals who rely on one narrow role are more vulnerable than those who can move across industries and apply their skills in different contexts. And this adaptability will be a major factor in determining long-term income growth, as the most successful professionals will treat their careers like evolving businesses, constantly analyzing market demand, upgrading their offerings, and positioning themselves where value is highest. And this mindset also changes how people approach education, shifting focus from passive consumption to active application, where learning is immediately tested through projects, real-world problems, and measurable outcomes, which accelerates both skill mastery and earning potential. And as digital platforms continue to expand, personal branding will also play a significant role in future income, because visibility creates opportunity, and those who share insights, build credibility, and demonstrate expertise publicly will attract higher-paying roles, partnerships, and clients, often without traditional job applications. And this trend is already evident on platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube, and professional communities, where individuals with strong reputations can negotiate better compensation simply because demand comes to them. And this doesn't require fame, but consistency, clarity, and value-driven communication. And from an economic perspective, the future workforce will operate in an environment shaped by automation, artificial intelligence, demographic shifts, and changing consumer behavior, which will continuously create new needs and eliminate old ones, meaning the highest-paying jobs will exist at the intersection of change, where uncertainty is high but opportunity is even higher, and people who are comfortable navigating uncertainty, learning on the go, and making informed decisions with incomplete information will have a significant advantage, especially in financial and strategic roles. And it's also important to recognize that ethical judgment and responsibility will become increasingly important as technology gains more control over financial systems, because trust will be a critical asset, and professionals who can balance innovation with accountability will be in high demand, particularly in areas involving data privacy, financial regulation, and automated decision-making, where mistakes can have serious consequences. And this further reinforces why future high-paying roles will not be purely technical, but will require a combination of analytical thinking, ethical awareness, and strategic oversight. And as income inequality becomes a growing concern globally, governments and organizations will rely on skilled professionals to design systems that are efficient, transparent, and resilient, creating opportunities for those who understand both economic theory and practical implementation. And this also highlights the importance of financial literacy at an individual level, because understanding how income, taxes, investments, and inflation interact allows professionals to make smarter career decisions and maximize the real value of what they earn. And those who ignore this aspect may earn high salaries but fail to build lasting wealth. While those who combine high-income skills with smart financial management can achieve long-term stability and independence, and another key factor shaping future jobs is the shift toward project-based work, where companies assemble teams for specific goals rather than maintaining large permanent staffs, which rewards specialists who can deliver high impact in short time frames. And this model favors efficiency, expertise, and results, often leading to higher hourly or project-based compensation compared to traditional employment. And as remote work becomes normalized, competition will increase, but so will opportunity, because the best talent will be rewarded regardless of location. And this means individuals must continuously differentiate themselves through skill depth, reliability, and the ability to solve complex problems, rather than relying on credentials alone. And this competitive environment will push professionals to think globally, stay updated on international trends, and understand how different markets operate, especially in finance and technology, where regulations, consumer behavior, and economic conditions vary widely. And those who can navigate this complexity will be especially valuable to global organizations. And as we look ahead, it becomes clear that the concept of a job itself is evolving, becoming more fluid, dynamic, and personalized, with income coming from multiple sources rather than a single paycheck. And this diversification reduces risk and increases resilience in an uncertain economy. And individuals who build multiple complementary skills can adapt faster to change and seize opportunities as they arise. And this is why the future of high-paying work will reward those who think long-term, invest in themselves consistently, and remain flexible in how they apply their talents. Because while specific roles may change, the underlying drivers of value creation, problem-solving, strategic thinking, and the ability to leverage technology will remain constant, shaping the careers and incomes of those who are prepared to meet the demands of a rapidly evolving world. In addition to all these shifts, another powerful factor influencing the future of high-paying careers is the way companies measure productivity and value, because time spent is no longer the primary metric, impact delivered is, and this fundamentally changes how individuals should think about their professional growth, since being busy does not necessarily mean being valuable. And in a results-driven economy, those who can clearly demonstrate how their work improves efficiency, profitability, or decision-making will always stand out, which is why future professionals must learn to quantify their contributions, communicate outcomes, and align their work with business goals, especially in finance and technology-driven roles where data allows performance to be measured precisely. And this also means that negotiation power will increasingly belong to those who can show evidence of value rather than relying on job titles or years of experience. And this shift will encourage more people to build portfolios, case studies, and track records that prove their ability to solve real problems, making income growth more merit-based and less dependent on traditional hierarchies. And as artificial intelligence continues to automate analysis and execution, human roles will move further upstream toward judgment, creativity, and oversight, where decisions are ambiguous and consequences are significant. And these are exactly the areas where compensation tends to be highest, because errors are costly and correct decisions create outsized returns, particularly in financial planning, investment strategy, risk management, and system design. And this dynamic also explains why interdisciplinary skills will be so valuable in the future, because professionals who can connect insights across finance, technology, psychology, and economics will be better equipped to understand complex systems and anticipate unintended consequences, which is a rare ability and therefore highly rewarded. And this convergence of disciplines will reshape career paths, making them less linear and more modular, where individuals assemble skill combinations that fit emerging needs rather than following predefined roles. And this flexibility will be essential as industries continue to overlap, with finance integrating into technology, healthcare, education, and even entertainment, creating new high-paying opportunities for those who can navigate multiple domains. And from a broader economic perspective, the future job market will be influenced by demographic changes, including aging populations in some regions and younger workforces in others, which will shift demand toward automation, productivity enhancement, and scalable systems, increasing the need for professionals who can design and manage such solutions. And this also ties into the growing importance of sustainability and long-term planning, because businesses and governments are under pressure to manage resources more efficiently, reduce waste, and build resilient systems, which opens the door for high-paying roles focused on strategic planning, financial optimization, and system-level thinking. And as global uncertainty becomes more common due to economic cycles, geopolitical tensions, and technological disruption, the ability to adapt quickly and make informed decisions under pressure will become a premium skill, especially in leadership and advisory positions where guidance is needed during periods of change. And this environment will reward calm, analytical thinkers who can balance short-term needs with long-term objectives, a combination that is difficult to develop but extremely valuable. And at the individual level, this means that emotional intelligence, decision discipline, and continuous self-improvement will play a much larger role in career success than before, because technical skills alone are no longer enough to sustain high income over time. And those who can manage stress, learn from failure, and remain focused in uncertain conditions will be better positioned to take advantage of opportunities that others avoid. And as competition increases, reputation will become a form of currency, where trust, reliability, and consistency influence earning potential just as much as skill, particularly in roles involving financial responsibility or strategic influence. And this reputation will be built over time through small decisions, ethical behavior, and the ability to deliver results repeatedly, reinforcing the idea that long-term success is cumulative rather than sudden. And another important trend shaping future income is the increasing use of automation tools by individuals, not just companies, which allows skilled professionals to multiply their output and serve more clients or manage larger systems without proportional increases in effort, effectively creating leverage. And leverage is one of the strongest drivers of high income, whether through technology, capital, or networks, and those who learn to use tools efficiently will outperform equally skilled peers who rely solely on manual effort. And this also democratizes opportunity, because access to powerful tools is no longer limited to large organizations, allowing individuals to compete at a higher level than ever before. And as more people recognize this, the distinction between employee, entrepreneur, and consultant will blur, with many professionals moving fluidly between roles, depending on opportunity and market conditions, creating more dynamic income streams and reducing dependence on any single source. And this diversification is particularly important in an unpredictable economy because it provides stability and flexibility at the same time. And as digital platforms continue to evolve, they will further lower barriers to entry for high-paying work while increasing competition, making differentiation even more critical, which brings the focus back to depth of skill, clarity of thinking, and the ability to solve meaningful problems, because in a crowded market, generalists struggle while specialists who address specific high-value needs thrive. And this specialization does not mean narrowing options, but rather becoming exceptionally good at something that matters, which can then be expanded or adapted as markets change. And ultimately, the future of high-paying jobs will be shaped by how well individuals understand value creation, manage change, and invest in their own capabilities over time. Because while technology will continue to evolve and job titles will come and go, the underlying principles of income growth will remain consistent, rewarding those who think strategically, act responsibly, and continuously align their skills with the needs of a rapidly changing global economy. The message from everything we've discussed is very clear and very powerful. The future will not reward those who wait. It will reward those who prepare, because high income in the coming years will not come from routine jobs or fixed titles, but from rare, valuable skills, smart thinking, and the ability to adapt as the economy, money, systems, and technology continue to change. And in a world where automation is increasing, inflation is reducing purchasing power, and global competition is rising, your greatest financial asset is not your job, your degree, or even your location, but your ability to learn, evolve, and create value where others cannot. And those who understand this early will position themselves ahead of the curve, earning more, staying relevant, and building long-term financial security while others struggle to catch up. Because income growth is no longer about working harder, it's about working smarter, choosing future-proof skills, and aligning yourself with industries that shape how money flows, how businesses grow, and how decisions are made at scale. So the real question is not whether high-paying future jobs will exist, but whether you will be ready to claim one of them. And that decision starts today with the skills you choose to learn, the mindset you adopt, and the actions you take consistently, because the future belongs to those who prepare for it, not those who fear it. And if you take control now, stay curious, and invest in yourself, you won't just survive the changing economy, you'll lead in it.